Okay, we're live. Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Cicero Planning Board meeting. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ashley, would you lead us off?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, and liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order of business is the approval of the September 20th meeting minutes. Any questions or comments on the minutes? We have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve is printed.
We have a second.
Second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mrs. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Snyder.
Yes.
And I vote yes, minutes have been approved. We will move on to public input. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board on any active application? Given nobody's coming up, we will close the public input. Move on to the first agenda item. This is for a site sketch plan review, LP operations for the property at 7021 Performance Drive, a proposed 6,000 square foot storage building. Hi, Tim.
Good evening, employer, if anybody wants some additional map.
Oh, we love paperwork, you know that.
This is existing, employer crane. Building. On Performance Drive.
Thank you.
Nothing different. Okay, it's working. So, again, this is located on Performance Drive and Stewart Drive. Taft Road is just up here to the north. That's the existing site building where they operate out of. We're looking to put a storage building down here just southwest of the existing building. He's looking to actually store some of his cranes and equipment in that building. I believe some of the cranes and stuff are out in the storage yard as we speak. So basically the building is going to be mostly for, I guess they have like electric cranes that he wants to store in there and some other equipment. We were going to put it a little closer to the building, but there's an existing water easement that comes through here in this area. So we had to slide it to the south farther, but it's pretty straightforward as far as what he's trying to do. He's just trying to add that existing new storage warehouse.
Mark, can you pull up the street elevation, please? Open the questions, Jim.
So there's nothing there now, and this is a new building that you.
This is a new structure. Yes, it's just it's like broken asphalt gravel area in where we're putting the building. Yes.
Okay. I'm good.
Are you adding any new landscaping to around this new building?
We weren't. No, it's literally the basically now stored outside like parking / storage area for his existing strains. So putting landscaping around it really didn't make any sense. There's already a decent amount of landscaping up around the building in this area.
That's good.
So, yep, this is the existing building here. As you see, this is where like the public or the employees and everybody really park. There's landscaping and everything around this area. The new building is going to go roughly in this area. As you can see, it's like a big parking area for the cranes.
Okay, and how are is there only one way of getting to that new building then?
So there's like a wraparound here. So you have a driveway up through here.
Yep.
And you have a driveway through here.
Okay, and so there's gonna be two-way?
Yep.
Both, so there's gonna be two directions on both?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, it's plenty wide enough.
okay. And how many vehicles, you said there's gonna be vehicles inside the building, correct?
The cranes.
Cranes, okay,
yes.
so how many fit?
I can ask. I don't know exactly how many.
Okay. And then how often are they gonna be brought in and out of there? Cause I know it's storing it, but.
How many, like, is it a daily thing? If it is.
Right, like how often
I'll
is the
find that
job?
out.
Okay. And then I would like some kind of effort to plant. Anytime we do any kind of digging, I like to see effort of planting something as well.
Some
But that's just
landscaping.
my opinion.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's it for me.
Donald?
Sorry, I'm just
The
catching.
fire department,
Oh, yes.
you got those letters that.
Yep.
they talk. So I think if you can speak to how the hydrants won't be blocked.
Mhm.
You know, what kind of a method you're gonna use to, put something around them so crane won't hide them. I think that's,
So,
nothing's worse than coming up with a truck to the facility and not knowing where, not getting to see the hydrants.
yep, my thought on that is I was gonna get an idea from the owner, how many cranes and stuff are stored outside. And I'll come up with a rough plan of where they should be stored and how they can be stored with some type of organization out there so that that isn't a concern. And if need be, I'll take a look if it makes sense to put some type of bollards around the hydrant so that, hitting it is never an option type of thing.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
I'm okay for now.
Yeah, so I looked at the fire department's letter as well.
Yep.
One of the comments he used was lack of organization. I was thinking the same thing before I got that letter. Mark, can you zoom in on that vacant lot, please?
Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just making sure I wrote down everybody's
No
comments.
worries. And
Yes.
so if you can look at, I mean, when I look at that, I do see a lack of organization.
Okay,
And I do see an area where this entrance can maybe look a little bit more like the entrance up here, get some green space and landscaping in that area.
okay.
And then you're gonna have to address their concerns relative to the condition of the pavement or lack thereof, and the voids in the surface and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him if, they're willing to touch up or resurface some of that area that back there that they're having concerns with.
Yeah, I think that needs to happen. I know it's out in the back a little bit, but it's gonna be eventually it'll be developed around there, so we want to we're moving towards enhancing the type of development that's happening in the town.
Okay.
But some of his cranes are crawler type. They aren't all mobile. They aren't all on tires, are they?
They're not all on tires, I don't believe, no.
So we gotta be careful that we don't have him put something like asphalt where he has those cranes moving around. Otherwise, it's just gonna destroy the pavement anyway.
Right, and that's why I wasn't necessarily saying asphalt. I was thinking that they could redo the gravel area and make it, bring it up to date and bring it up to snuff is a better word that I'll say.
Mark, can you slide it to the north a little bit? So there's the entrance that I was talking about.
Yep.
In the green space and, a decent drive.
Yep.
Organization.
Yep.
And now south, Mark. So. Stop ignoring me.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. So we got some landscaping here. I think we can do some more here to,
Yep.
shield the equipment a little bit better for whoever moves in next door at some point.
Okay, yeah, there's room over there, yep.
I thought he was originally gonna move his crane business to the new site that he put
Oh,
together.
Sneller Road. No, he's actually trying to openly market some of those lots, I believe. I know he has a couple over there, I believe, sitting over there, if I remember correctly, but no.
No, he's
Elevations.
never had the cranes there, but he's had
Elevations.
parts of the
Building.
cranes
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, we have, it's like our fourth and fifth sheet or something like that. Yep. Pretty basic, metal frame, building. It's gonna match the existing building as far as color and style.
The pretty basic is not what we're looking for.
Okay,
That was a good description. I thought the same thing.
again, just it's an industrial, warehouse. That's kind of why we went with it. I'll talk to the owner, the applicant, and see what we can do to improve the look of it.
Terrific. Yeah, the stuff we're reviewing for the I know this is a different area, but maybe if we provided some of that information to them, we give them an idea of what we're looking at.
Sure.
What do you think?
I don't think it'll hurt. I mean, it gives you an idea of what
Yeah,
we're ostensibly moving towards with the design standard.
Oh, there's, okay.
that's
John,
all
I'm a little concerned that, this is an industrial area. It's an industrial situation. It's not like we had with Dollar Tree on Taft Road or the storage barn we had for the fire department in, down the street here. So I think we gotta be careful how much we make, people do in, 90% of the people live in this town will never drive by this building. People don't drive in here unless probably the most people driving here are the ones that are going to the dog rescue place.
And again, that's the reason I didn't suggest any real improvements to the overall look of the building, because it's an industrial building, an industrial situation. And I'm wondering if we increase and improve the landscape buffer around it, and it kind of buffers that building in general, maybe that'll help and maybe we don't need so much building improvement. Maybe the landscaping around it blocks the building sufficiently, and we can go like that. But again, I can talk to the applicant and see what he's willing to put forth as far as additional like aesthetics on the building. And if you have design standards that you're looking at, and feel free to offer them up. I wasn't aware of them.
Yeah, and I agree with what Don's saying to an extent. But not this,
Okay.
even if it's an industrial.
Yeah,
If you take a look, can you go back to the satellite view, please, and the electronic company that's right next door? Some kind of, yeah. And maybe get like get 3D on there. Or a street view is fine. So that's what I envision going on beyond this.
yeah, so, even if we had, like the fire barn storage in Brewerton, they had a
Like a
wainscot around it,
yep.
wainscot
Okay.
around the bottom, so it wasn't just a big box.
Yeah, it doesn't have to meet the standards that Mark's gonna provide you, but just
no.
an idea of
Okay.
the theory of what we're
To
looking
dress
for.
it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, this is their existing building. So
Yep.
It's got.
yeah, even the existing, but right,
Yeah,
that was done very nice.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, those, some of those don't have.
And then you got that view.
wow, got a lot of equipment there.
Yeah, that's why I think to piggyback on what Ashley was saying with some landscaping up front and cleaning that entrance and a little more green space in between.
Okay.
Would help that. And then it's more attractive for future development inside the development.
Mhm.
Steve, anything?
You brought up the concerns with the fire department with the broken asphalt already. I know they're concerned about voids or buildings that were demolished and foundations that may remain, so.
Yeah, and you got that letter, Tim?
Yep,
And then, did you say it was gonna be a metal frame building?
yes,
Okay, 'cause that was a question of theirs as well, that, to determine the fire flow that it's present and if it's adequate for the type of structure that it'll be. I think you also indicated that there's gonna be water, utilities to the building.
I'm double checking on the water. I'm definitely heat and electricity, or gas and electricity for heat and lighting, obviously. I'm gonna double check with him on water. We might have just added that in our statement of use by mistake.
That's it, thank you.
Nothing at this time.
Tim, anything else?
No, thank you.
That'll conclude the first item. The next review is for a sketch plan again for Paul Massey. This is for property at 6341 Island Road, a proposed pole barn.
Good evening, Tim Coyer.
It's been a while.
At least
Pay
change, at least change your shirt, right?
Gonna pay
Or
attention.
do like a 360,
Yeah.
you know?
One of those quick change.
Yeah.
I'll put a,
Now this one better look different.
this one's basically the same.
Okay.
I did add the fact that we checked that there was a zone change approved tonight on the last step. I had to have that. So we were in front of you with this site a few months ago for the zone change. We did get the zone change. It is industrial. Mr. Massey's looking to build this, construct this. It's not just metal frame, but it's also got an office area in the front, which again, he's not going to use at this time. He just wants to construct it. He specifically wants to use the warehouse area in the back. But it's pretty straightforward. Entrance coming off of Island Road, some gravel in the back. We're gonna pave the front here. Again, no employees or public are coming to this site at this time. So as far as paving areas and customers coming to the site, we don't have any of that. That's why the rest of it's gravel. I did get some comments from the fire department today. My understanding, we're gonna have to put some type of turnaround to help so that the fire trucks can get in and out without any problem. Trying to think of what else they had. They had some concern as far as if this hydrant was 400 feet and we have enough room. 400 feet can wrap around the building, so the building doesn't really have to move. If anything, I could bring it forward a little bit. But again, it's pretty straightforward. He wants to use the back of this warehouse area for storage of his plow trucks for his landscape company.
You did mention the gravel as well. The fire department did.
Oh, yes, they want to make sure it's sufficient enough to support the vehicles. Yes, I think we're gonna, right now we have a 10-inch gravel drive detail. I'll talk to the applicant, probably just have to beef that up to make sure it's sufficient for that size of vehicle.
Do you have a description of what will happen there on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I don't necessarily have on a daily basis. My understanding, again, it's just storage for his existing operation as far as plow trucks, because right now he's actually storing them in a different another person's warehouse, and he wants to store them here. So he's got a landscape and a plowing business. So in the wintertime, he's gonna probably store his landscape equipment. In the summertime, it's gonna be the plows and the snow storage equipment.
So this is gonna be a secondary building?
Yes, it's basically just he's literally just gonna use it to store equipment in the back. It's not really like an operational site. It's just a storage site. And again, that was part of the zoning zone change approval. You know, it's part of the covenant for the land. He's aware of that. If and when he wants to do something with the front, he's got to come back to the town board and, you know, get all that changed and reapproved and all that.
So during plow season, are people coming here, grabbing their plows, heading out and then coming back?
I will check that. I don't think so. I think the plows went during plow season are at his main facility.
Yeah, if you can check that
Yep.
operation, that would be terrific. My concern is these 30-foot pads that we make them put in at the road.
Oh,
I'm sure it's enough.
I see what you're saying.
Always seen dirt pulled out on the road from, you know, a really good example is Northern Boulevard, but that's different.
Okay, I'll double check.
Mr. Duval.
Yeah, so will there be any blacktop surfaces or just?
Right now, we're
Stone
just
there.
proposing the typical 30-foot front entrance pavement. Again, if in the future, when they go to use it for actual operations and, you know, possible customers coming to the site, they're gonna have to pave some of that in the parking area and all that, but not at this time.
And will there be any trees or landscaping?
We do show some basic landscaping up front, and I'm showing some trees to come in here to block it a little bit, but yeah, some basic landscaping, yes.
And will there be any sign or?
No signage at this time, no. He doesn't want people coming here. It's just, again, just for storage.
But you mentioned an office.
Yep, he wanted to go back to the very beginning of all this, we came in here originally with a site plan application for this specific operation. when it was agricultural, and because he was doing the office, you couldn't do that without a special permit, and you couldn't get the special permit without a specific use, and it turned into a little bit of a back and forth, like cart before the egg, because he really wants to put the office in for now, for future use in the future. But he doesn't have a specific use for it right now. That's why we went through the zone change and all that.
Are you asking for the office use approval now?
Nope, this just, and on the map, it says this is not to be used.
I'm good for
Ashley?
now.
Are any vehicles gonna be worked on here?
No,
Okay. But you're not sure if it's just in the off season that they're gonna be parked here yet?
correct. I'm gonna double check as far as if they're gonna be coming in and out, just like Mark asked.
Okay. Could you just double check to see if they're gonna be doing any work on there as
Yep.
well? Cause then that changes everything.
Correct, yep.
I would like to see more landscaping. I'm always rooting for it.
Okay.
And I guess I would just like to know why the office is being built if it's not gonna be used. I mean, everyone's trying to save money right now, so if we're not getting approval for it right now, I guess I just wanna understand why it's being built now if there's no plan on using it.
It's a very good question. I asked him multiple times. He just, to be honest, I told him take the office off and just go for the industrial building and
Yeah.
go that way, but he was dead set on doing the office because he wants to do it at this time. I don't have a very good answer, and I don't think he has a very, like, I honestly tried to tell him not to do the office multiple times, but he just really wants to have that, do that now and then potentially use it in the future. He doesn't want to do an addition in the future. That's what I said. I said, just do the office, warehouse and propose an addition in the future as far as an office, but he just wanted to do the whole thing now.
Okay. And then as far as waste, is there gonna be any waste or?
Nope.
Okay. And then same thing as last time, which I'm sure everyone's gonna start to say is that we would just like to see a little bit more effort put into the
Okay.
dressing up of the building. And that's it for me.
Mr. Snyder?
Why is there a curve in the driveway going into the building?
So the reason I did this is there's an existing culvert and existing drive in this area. So we want to utilize the existing driveway in what's there. And he wanted to slide the building as far to the west as possible. And with the rear yard setback here, yeah, we could potentially pull the building forward, but again, he's planning on his design for a septic is going to be coming in here. So just the way he wanted to utilize where the building gets placed and the existing driveway location, that's why I have the curb in there. It's not ideal, but
I would think the cost of the pipe that's in the ditch right now versus the additional pavement or stone or whatever you're gonna have for the crazy driveway. More area to plow when he
well, the only other concern is this is a county road. There is an existing driveway, like a dirt / gravel driveway that runs up here. And if we do slide this over to the east, you might have a little concern with ingress and getting another permit as far as how close we are to that other driveway. This driveway has been on the property for a number of years. Actually, I was just talking to Steve about it. It's actually used to access a house in the back that someone else is using. Someone else uses the driveway. So that's why that driveway's been there, and it's been there for years. He doesn't have a problem with them doing it. It's just he didn't want to touch it.
does that give our lawyer another thing he's gotta play with is an easement so that you can't all of a sudden block this guy that has a house that's in the back or something?
I don't even understand that question.
Good, I'm not the only one.
Tim, is that
Since
where the
you're
power-
so good at easements,
the
my
right-
question was if there isn't something formally on the land about access to this house that's supposedly not on this property.
Well, he has control of the property, so. He's to get in. You know, it's on
No.
property.
He doesn't.
No, the guy that owns the house needs something to protect him.
But
So-
you're saying that the owner of the house is a different person than the person who owns the land?
Correct. And I went through the abstract there. I specifically looked for an access easement. There is none in the abstract. My understanding, and Steve kind of informed me a little bit of this just now, is there's an easement on the neighboring property. Actually, Mark, I think, is it, oh, is it at the house? Yeah. But apparently there's an easement on this property that he's supposed to be using, but apparently, and he's not using it. So he does have access easement into his property. I can look into it, but
This our site right here?
this is our site right here. So this is our site right here. This is that driveway that that house is using. Again, my understanding is there's some type of easement.
Well, actually, Tim,
Go
I was
ahead.
thinking, I was thinking you're talking about the driveway to the west. That's the one that the house is using. You can see it there. It's along
This
the
house.
power line, right away.
Yeah, but that's not the one you were
That's not the
talking
one
about.
you're
You're talking about
to the
this,
east.
right?
This is the driveway that's on our property that's being accessed by this structure.
Oh,
whoever's-
so maybe you're talking about that house. I thought you were talking,
Yes.
I don't think that.
I don't know if,
occupied.
well, I think it's like a camp of some sort.
Is that on the site plan?
No, that's way,
It's
that's
off.
way,
Oh, it's off the site.
way off our site. So our site property line is roughly here. So this is our site right here. That structure is way back here. This property back here is landlocked, if you ever look at the tax parcels. So this is landlocked, and they're using this driveway periodically to gain access back there.
Not part of our site.
No,
So you wanna say that we're gonna make that our issue to like reach out and to a neighbor who may be, what, 3 lots over?
I think the issue is he's got a driveway across
Is it?
this
is it
subject
better-
property. So it's on this site. I think is what he's saying. I think he's saying,
Where's the drive?
Right here. right here.
So it is on.
Yep.
You gotta
So
show-
he's got-
You gotta show the actual easement,
We can show an easement. I mean, there's not a filed easement.
then there's no easement.
Right. There's not a filed easement at all.
Yeah, was the land in the back owned by the previous owner of this property?
I-
They definitely did.
It might have been,
Farmed that land.
it might have been back in a while ago, but I don't think,
So we didn't sell, so subject to keeping, subject to an easement that he's gonna keep for himself to go.
I did not see anything.
Hmm.
The abstract's only this thick, so there wasn't much.
You may need to go back further.
Okay.
That house property abut to this one at the back,
No.
No.
so there's different property in between.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
don't really think it affects us. The accent, but if you take that easement off, that easement.
There is no
not
easement.
There.
There's no easement.
There is no
There's
easement.
easement there, and it's not part of your site plan.
Correct.
The whole thing goes away.
Is it? Did somebody say it's not occupied?
I don't know if it's, I think it's like a camp or a structure that they use when they go back there to utilize the land or whatever they do back there. Again, I don't think he's ever seen anybody drive back there recently, and it's periodic. But there's a power line that goes,
go across his property. get on another property.
yeah, there's multiple. I think that there's a tax parcel here that they're on, and then this is their tax parcel.
Take the abstract back, look for an easement, see if he did, when the underlying property was deeded out, they could retain an easement to get the easement. No easement, then we're gonna have to decide what we're gonna do about that, because there is a driveway, okay, there's a driveway.
Yep.
On the site, which I guess you would fall off the site if you wanted to. Right?
If he wanted to, in theory, I
You
guess.
Wanna do it to him.
He
but
doesn't wanna do it.
Wanna establish an easement that gives him the rights, but I don't know how you're gonna do it if you don't control all the land all the way up to it.
Right, we don't.
You might not be able to do it, maybe beyond your.
You can just across his property and then.
Yeah, you have to stub it across your property and then leave them,
Right.
you know, if that's what you wanted to do. But I think you gotta do a little bit more investigation to find out whether or not there was something filed.
I'll double check.
Get your address, to go back when it got deeded out.
I've done enough damage on this one.
Neil? What's that term for when you're using somebody's property for years and years without permit?
Adverse possession.
That's it.
Statutory continuous with statutory period of 10 years by right. That would be a prescriptive easement with property extension.
Right.
Interesting.
It's an interesting,
Glad we have you here.
no,
Those are difficult cases. to
well,
prove.
Interesting.
Maybe maybe-
It sounds like a good one.
that's what I told Paul
He might
was,
have it by
he
prescription.
might have an easement by prescription.
Same thing. Each thing.
And I told him not to do anything with the driveway because of exactly that, and he doesn't really care about the driveway. But I just made sure he didn't do anything with the driveway.
Well,
So here's the rest of it. You're gonna look to see if there actually is.
Yeah.
When you go back and you find out that they likely not an easement, your next.
Next step is
course of
the
action
show
would be
one.
to Try to stub an easement there.
Yep.
And give them what you can. On the length of your property, so if that's, however long your
Yeah.
property is, just ingress and egress to that, that's all you're gonna be able to do, you can't go beyond what you own.
Correct.
You gotta look, but I would look first.
this is a first.
It is kind of
I've seen it before, not at site plan or town meetings or anything, but
But you're saying he does have an easement somewhere.
I'm not saying he has an easement, he has a driveway.
No, not in your property, somewhere else.
Oh,
Next.
Might.
maybe, and I was kind of going off what Steve was talking about. Steve was confused.
There's a driveway here to the blasted access, so.
Oh.
It was built in the rear.
The other house, yeah,
Adjacent to this part, yeah.
And then,
it's even more interesting. All right, are you done?
I would, yeah, you better make me be done.
You're done. So I would agree with Ashley on the landscaping up front.
Okay.
And this building has got a little more structure to it, and that's good. But dressing it up some more would be great. And you're gonna provide color schemes?
yes, I thought I had color schemes, but I'll double check.
And
Oh, we didn't show with color. Okay.
Steve?
I think we covered all the issues at this point.
Neil?
thumbs up for now.
Mark, anything at this point?
Yeah, eventually, it'll be included in the comments, but, I'm talking with Steve. We need to show parking spaces
Okay.
and gonna have to have a handicap space and an AD space. No way around it.
Okay,
And
that's fine.
Therefore, you've got.
Okay.
For a business that's like, that doesn't,
Steve, you wanna answer this question?
Well, if you've got employees coming there, you're gonna park vehicles, yeah. Yep. You gotta, if you're providing parking, you gotta have at least one accessible parking.
And we will be very specific about no office space. If that was approved.
right.
Correct.
Also,
Yeah, we'll get comments out.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Last agenda item is a zone change recommendation to the town board. This is for the property at a whole bunch of places, Taft Road, Wheatley Road. Good evening.
Evening,
We've met before.
been around.
Burn Dairy.
Yes, you guys all set?
Your name, yeah,
Good evening, Christian Burdell, Senior Executive Vice President with Burn Dairy. Thank you for having me tonight. We're getting ready to go over a puzzle here and it's gonna take me a
Yes.
little bit. You have to bear with me, but I think I can make sense of it. I do have some maps here. I think everyone has those, correct? Or do you need some? Okay. Do a lot of
what
pointing.
corner is this?
This is the southeast corner of Northern Boulevard and East Taft, so it's exactly across the street from the Circle K.
How
Former
come
nice-
I think it's the northeast?
North,
Yep.
Yes,
northeast. Okay, we've been going back and
it
forth.
says southeast.
Okay,
It
typo.
it confused me for about 20 minutes.
Okay, so it's across from Circle K.
Yep.
Exactly across.
Where the red house is.
Oh, mine works. Perfect. Okay, so right over here, Wheatley's this little road here. That's what we call it, I guess, with a few houses on it. Wheatley cuts in here. Circle K is right here.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm asking for is we've been talking to the landowners for a long time here, trying to get everyone on board, which we do have everyone on board. So there's currently 10 parcels here. Okay, the red is the proposed zone change, and that would be to a GC plus. On the property, the total overall acreage is approximately 33 plus acres. Okay, of that 33 acres in the red, about 12.5 acres would be buildable. The rest back here is all wetlands, federal and state. Okay, so the buildable portion really is right about here. Okay, on the site. But again, the family, this site is one parcel. You can see the hook here. This is one parcel. This is one parcel here. Okay, so it all goes together. 8 of the properties are under contract at this time. The 9th one can be under contract any day. The only one that is not is the one back here. Industrial is Mr. Hasselmeyer's property, and that currently is being run as a landscape dump truck slash tree service. You can call it multiple things. But that is not under contract at this time, and nor do we have any means to it, nor does he want to. Okay, so. The one residence right here, these 2 residents, Greg's 2 parcels, that's under contract. Yes, it is. Yes, I have them under contract as well. Okay, so right now on these 10 parcels, this white is currently the only piece in this chunk that is not part of the 33 acres that is zoned general commercial plus. Okay, so you have general commercial plus, which is owned by NIMO, National Grid, at this time. That's general plus. Everything around it, there's 4 different zoning classifications here. Me and Steve had a fun time actually trying to figure out what the zoning really was here. We've had a couple of renditions, we got it straightened out. So there's 4 zoning classifications on 10 parcels now. 2 of the parcels are split zoned to make it even more confusing. Okay, so the 2 split zone parcels are one that we have under contract. See the R15 and industrial. See that hook right there? So you have R15, then you separate it by GC plus, and then you go to industrial. That industrial is a wetland. It's unbuildable. Okay, so that's a split zone parcel. Also, you'll see this parcel right here. Okay, this is a split zone. It's agricultural and industrial as well. Okay, how they come up with agricultural over there, can't even fathom, nor do I want to try. But so you have 2 split zone parcels, 4 overall parcels you can see. So you have industrial on the site already. You have general commercial. You can see that right here on the site already. You have ag buried in here, and then you have an R15 thrown down the middle just to be thrown in there, I guess. So we kind of have a conglomeration of a bunch of zones. Don't ask me why. Doesn't make any sense. So looking at the zoning, I thought change it to a GC plus, and I'll tell you the reason for a GC plus is, of course, it allows everything in the commercial, but the GC plus also allows warehousing, distribution facilities, and manufacturing and assembly as well. I'm not hiding anything. We're Burned Dairy. My primary focus here is to put a convenience store with a fueling facility in this corner right here. But again, buying this much acreage, because this is a family that's selling these 6 parcels to us, it all comes together. It makes perfect sense for Burned Dairy. And we're down the road. Everyone knows what we have down the road, right? We have our plant down the road. 481, we're out of space there. We also, being the retail division, we're building a lot of new stores. In between 6 and 10 stores a new year I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. I'm up to 71 stores as of today. We'll be opening 3 more in the next 45 days. We have a bakery on Court Street Road that we've outgrown, that we bought the Hahn building over there. We have a warehouse in Auburn that distributes all the groceries for this, that feeds all of them. But with the growth, why not have a GC plus that gives Burned Dairy and its sister companies a possibility of, the fuel facility here. You put the GC plus in, and again, in the zoning, it says warehouse, distribution, and manufacturing. Do we have any intentions at this time to do that? No, not at this time. But if there's going to be, say I use 2 acres there, there's going to be an additional 10 acres, right, that we could use as a warehouse distribution or something like that. At that time, of course, we have to come back in front of any boards, right, and go through a site plan approval process. But rather than do it GC, if we do it GC, then it pigeonholes it just to a fueling facility. And it takes out warehouse distribution and your manufacturing and assembly. If you jump to an industrial with everything here, okay, you can't do a C-store or any other retail. Okay, so it kind of gives us the best of both worlds. And I think we can agree in that area that's definitely not agricultural and it's definitely not R15. So that's kind of why I looked at the GC plus and it seemed to make sense. This right here is a kind of a vacant parcel. It's vacant tree here by Wheatley. And I don't know what the town's thoughts. I talked to Steve about it. Wheatley's kind of in disrepair. The only people that use it right now are the 3 owners who we're buying this from, and those houses will disappear someday. I can assure you they're not in the best of shape. So there would be no reason, and I'm sure DOT would love to get rid of, this coming out here. You guys are really close to the intersection. Greg's 2 parcels right here is 1 house. You could leave Wheatley there and come out in the northern there. Just kind of a thought.
Public highway?
Wheatley, yeah,
Town road.
town road. I've done town roads before. Takes a little finagling, but you can do it. It is a town road.
Houses in there.
There's a couple houses right here.
So what are you proposing to do, Phil?
I'm not proposing anything right now. I'm just saying in the future, it would make sense if, Wheatley would go away. Those houses are gonna go away. Those 3 houses that we're buying, they're very old. So then it'll leave 1 house right here in the corner, and then you have access from Wheatley over here. And that would, again, it would take that dry, off
So,
of
yeah,
East Half.
So there's no zone to that. You're showing it as zone change, but you're really not.
It's its own change, it's the one over the top of the road.
No,
Huh?
it's not zone.
It's not zoned. You are correct. Yep, this is zoned right here. This little piece that comes with the property, right here. That's zoned, but you are correct. That is not zoned. It should have been left white technically.
Okay.
You are correct. But again, it would make sense in the future. I'm just, to do something there. Any questions on the map? I know it's a little confusing, but
Are these the 2 residential houses here?
they're further up the road.
Are they?
This right here is Lee Haramis. This right here is a pole barn. He uses it to keep all his lawnmower equipment and he mows services. It's another individual. It's a pole barn.
That's the guy with the red house, right?
No,
No.
the red house is it's very confusing. I was up there. The red house is a lawnmower service guy.
Yeah.
And that's part of the Hearn family that's under contract.
Okay.
But if you go further down East Taft, right here, Ariel, L&L property. That's just a pole barn with a plow truck on it and some old lawnmowers. Then you had to cut through right between it, right here. See, this goes back to properties. There's the red house. See that? But this is totally different, that chunk you're looking at right here,
So whereabouts on there is the property line that you're buying?
right along through here.
Not
Okay,
that pole barn.
I'm in talks with him. I can have that tomorrow if I want it.
It's not on your map.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is.
Yep. If you go back. So right here, that's this piece. So if you look in your package, what I did is I got all these owners to sign off on, he's in favor of the zone change, of course, right? So I got Mr. Harmis back here, these property owners, and Greg, there's 4 different property owners for 10 parcels. He signed off on the zone change because he wants his zone change to Z plus. Yes, he's in favor of it. And that's in your package. So that's what took me so long, is to make sure everyone that owned properties in this red. I didn't ask the town. Because that, again, I should have, it's not zoned for the road, but everything else I have permission letters and they are in support of this. If I don't get him, like he said, he wants a GC plus as well. I guess he's had a discussion, he said before with the town. This is what he says years ago about changing it, but he didn't want to go through the process. Okay, so all 10 people are all on the same, we're all on the same page. It'll clean this corner up into one zone, which is something that's currently zoned, for zoning classifications.
Okay, so the store you're talking about would be, in here?
Somewhere in here. That's what I'm just thinking right up here, right? It just makes sense. And then that leaves this space behind here, right? So this is the NIMO. Anything back here is underwater. This is NIMO. They built up a road right here. There's a road right there. And it's built right up. Anything here, there's a 100-foot buffer from the state. So right up in here, my engineer looked at the mapping. This circle is the buildable property in here. Okay, so if I put the store up in here, right, it's gonna leave me probably 8 acres back there of flat, nice property.
And that's where you're thinking of a potential warehouse? or
We'd have
something?
the ability with the GC plus, right, to come in and put a warehouse, dry storage, distribution. I'm just making this up. Okay, something back there, something buildable. Yes. Whereas if we don't do the GC plus and we say the GC, I'm not gonna be able to do that. And that's basically just gonna be 9 acres of vacant land. So that was my thoughts on the GC plus, adding those 3 specific uses: warehouse, distribution facilities, manufacturing, and assembly.
Mark, can you go back to satellite, please?
There's Wheatley. You can see that little road.
So I think there's 2 residentials right here.
Yeah, they're further down the road. They're not involved.
Right, they're right next door.
The L&L property maintenance kind of buffers it right now. And they're in the trees right here, yes. This is a soil and gravel place across here.
Do you know what the zoning is for these residentials?
The ones right next to it, I think I have provided you that. I don't know if you still have. it.
do have that.
I don't see that on the map.
They might be, the town did a lot of zone changes in the last several years. too.
Yeah.
They created the general commercial zoning, whether it was ag or it was existing split zoning. The GC plus that exists on 9 properties, that was actually part of a zone change on Deacon North across Northern Boulevard, because that land is hooked with that property. And then the industrial existed to the north already. We're National Grid, above National Grid's property.
Here's your zoning map.
Sent you something marked up. a while
Yes,
back.
that's it. It's GC.
Yeah, those are
Those are
general
G-
commercial
yeah, they're
also.
GC.
Yeah.
Are you set with your presentation? We'll open for questions.
Any questions? Yep.
Jim?
I'm good right now.
Ashley?
So I love Burn Dairy. I love it for my kids and I think it's great. I love the local feel for it. I'm not a fan of changing all of this area. So the top, you said the top is not buildable? Is that what you're saying? This whole area up here?
Back here. Yep, right here. All this is unbuildable.
Okay. I guess to me, this is a very high traffic, still very town feel. So to me, it makes me nervous to have a warehouse or a distribution center this close to high traffic town areas. I'm also not in favor of eliminating a town road.
Okay, that's fine. I
Yeah.
just a thought.
So I still very much love how Cicero feels like a town. So it does make me nervous to bring in a huge warehouse distribution center in an area like this. So that's just my opinion. Again, I love Burnt Dairy. I love the idea of bringing in another one. I understand that there's a lot of different zones here. I'm not sure exactly what the solution is. I know that you're not planning on doing that right now. However, I'm not in favor of that in the future, but that's just my opinion. Go ahead. I'm good.
Well, whatever she said, I don't agree with. So let's start fresh. I don't have a problem with the zone change, except if we go general commercial plus, you said we can have manufacturing. Warehouse is one thing. Manufacturing, once we change the zone to that class, unless we put some kind of a quid pro quo in when we would approve it and say, however, we would never let
Warehouse only.
warehouse only, not manufacturing. Cause I can see somebody coming in there and all of a sudden, they want to have some manufacturing plant that makes a lot of noise and is dirty or whatever.
Maybe a
You know.
chip plant will come in.
Pardon?
Maybe a chip plant will come in.
Yeah, we'll wait to see the one on 31 first.
again, the first intentions, first bluff was, the warehouse. But as you know, once you change it, you are correct. Once you change it legally, I can use anything on
Right.
there.
Unless we
Right.
stipulate otherwise.
Unless you stipulate otherwise.
We, the town board.
Yeah, listen, we got a manufacturing plant there. We just built another one down in Cortland. We got 125 acres in Cortland. We built a sister plant, just like the one in 41. Ideally, would I like to have it manufacturing just because who knows 20 years from now what's gonna happen? None of us know. But if that was one of the stipulations, I'd have to talk to the owners and see, but I just figured GC plus made perfect sense. That's all.
Well, I think it's perfect sense, except there's an exception that I would have to have written in there if I'm going to approve commercial plus.
Okay.
That's all for now for me, Mark.
I agree with Ashley. I love Burn Dairy as well. And the success of your company is exciting. I love that. Mark, can you go back to the aerial again? How many times have I made you do this?
It does it quick.
It actually makes a good point about the local town feel and the town roads. But that Wheatley may not come into effect. I mean, we can look at that down the road.
Yeah, that's just me throwing that out there.
Yeah,
I mean, once you take 3 houses off of there, the function of
it
it.
may work. Yeah, it may, we may
No,
not need a
town
town
would
road.
love to get, most of the time, towns love to get rid of roads.
Yeah, because it's plowing,
Right?
maintaining.
Yes.
I get it.
And plus the proximity to that corner, you'll never find anything like that around. I mean, that's.
Right.
It's on the intersection. It's not near, it's on it.
So at some point, it may make sense.
Yeah. But again, that's neither here nor there. I mean,
Are you good with us recommending strictly warehouse, not manufacturing?
wouldn't see a problem with it. Warehouse or distribution. They're a slash. So it's the manufacturing assembly. I gotta have no choice. So if that's what you guys are gonna have to live with it.
Steve,
Relative to that question about.
any thoughts?
Yeah, well, Christian, you have all the residential properties under contract. I think you heard you say.
Yes.
So all the houses are going away except for one, and that's the one you have under contract for. Right? There was that one holdout that wasn't interested in selling initially, right?
No, they're all, the only one that's not is, again, this landscape place back
So
here.
what house would remain? You said one house is gonna remain. Which house would?
I don't know if it'll remain. I have Greg's under contract as well back here.
Okay.
But again, without doing a site plan, I don't know if I'm gonna need to utilize it. But I didn't want to go in not having it and then there's no project. So I have to make the determination. The next step is if I do get you guys recommend zone change, I get the zone change, and then I start getting into the engineering and saying, what do I need?
So you have an option on it.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I have an option on all this. Yep, and connector says that option up to a year.
So he's okay with the zone change. You don't need to use it. We'll be creating a non-conforming use in general commercial cluster. The house will remain in it. That's can stay as long as it's not abandoned.
Which they're already there though.
You're in a GC.
The ones on tap. So
The
current-
R15s?
the Current houses on Wheeler are
Oh.
R15.
Yeah, there are 15s.
That's interesting.
So what
It's
would
interesting.
stay? What would potentially stay? What house?
If the potential of the house, the one that would stay would be this one
That
potentially.
one back there.
But it isn't, right now I have intentions of using it, but again, if I, that's the intentions. It's under, I have an option on it.
Does that owner agree with a zone change? as well?
Yes, there's signed letters in your file
Yeah, in the past.
with all the property owners, yes. He's
How big
approved.
is that parcel? Do you know?
I can look at it here. It's almost about an acre.
Would be kind of limited on the GC plus, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So that probably, based on your thought, that probably should not be included in the zone change unless you're including it in your purchase,
Right now it is, we do have an option on it, so it would be,
I think the
Right.
Town, yeah, but I think the town. Not be interested in zone change, that's all property owners were. I think we'd want all the zone changed, and if the property owner is willing to do that, he's aware that he's creating
Yeah.
a predicament on his property. So that later that it can't.
as long as he
remain on-
understands, you may have trouble marketing it and financing it, insuring. So that'll be something we'll look at.
Mhm.
Good point, Steve. Anything else?
No.
Yeah. Mark?
No.
Interesting one. I think this might be spot zoning.
Hmm.
Put a big-
Existing.
put a big spot.
I mean, existing.
It's a term that's thrown around a lot because they think if it's a small parcel or something like that, there'd be spot zoning and it'd have to be without purpose and without, a thoughtful intent going into it. It would also have to be to advantage one landowner as opposed to all the other landowners.
Hmm.
But I do not think this.
No, yeah.
I don't mean your request. I mean, what's there now. But no,
Oh, this is right here, right there's a, me and him looked at it, we couldn't make ends meet of what was where. I mean, quite interesting, the maps.
But I mean, essentially, you're zoning to everything in that area to GC plus with the restrictions that I posed so far, that I guess that's.
yes. So do you want to read that potential proposal or recommendation?
I can do it for you.
Let's do it.
Hey, Steve, I have a quick question. Is there, so under this general commercial plus, is there limitations in terms of how far back they could start building? And what is that? I can't remember.
It's, I believe it's 70, well, actually 50 feet from the street line, from the front property.
Okay. Thank you.
What do we got?
Okay, you're gonna move for the adoption of a resolution recommending the approval of the proposed zone change application on a Sonnenburn Sales Inc. Wheatley Road, tax map number 056-02-073 6387 6391 6397 and 6401 East Staff Road. 7318 7328 7336 and 7356 Wheatley Road and Wheatley Road tax map numbers 056-02-09 GC to GC plus, R15 to GC plus, R15 and industrial to GC plus, and ag and industrial to GC plus. By my notes, following in accordance with the recommendation to approve the requested zone change. The proposed map should be amended to remove any portion of town road from the proposed zone change. 2, the proposed zone change should be limited by a covenant running with the land to use the property as a distribution center / warehouse only. No other use is provided for in the GC plus classification should be permitted. The planning board would not recommend this zone change in the absence of this covenant.
Any questions?
Does what we just said, does it also allow him to put a Burn Dairy store in the? 'Cause it,
Yes.
Oh, yeah, GC
well,
plus.
I just want to make sure.
You can do that in
'cause
GC,
GC's allowed and GC plus falls anything back.
everything plus, yeah.
That's the whole, yes.
Good.
Anything else? No. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mrs. Hogan,
No,
Mr. Snyder,
yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes our agenda items. Are there any questions or comments from the team? Do we have a motion to adjourn? I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I'll make it set.
Meeting is adjourned.
We're having so much fun. We didn't want to leave. Come on.
well, it's been too long, you know?
Yeah,
Leave us out.
yeah. Neil, I think we're gonna have to go through our suitcase full of things and see whether, I mean, there's just some, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we're,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some old stuff in there.
Yeah, oh, there's.
Yep.
Stuff that we cannot-
I like you stand up for yourself. Good job.
Because every time you say to somebody,
Of course.
you know, just give us the new information, get yourself on the agenda, they just say, oh, okay, you know.